Oh, sorry, I didn't see you there. This is a little embarrassing. I was just reading this book on mastery by Robert Greene, learning to master my craft and pontificating on life and its challenges. Daniel, what are you reading over there?
What the fuck? I mean, I get the cow goes moo. I mean, they nailed the sound, but this does not feel like a cow. Feel this.
Feels like my girl's muff.
What's a muff? Is a muff a farm animal? Good morning, everybody. I'm Daniel.
And I'm Jordan.
And we're Daniel and Jordan.
Daniel. They couldn't come up with a name, so they went with their own names. But that's the way our heroes roll, and it's gonna be okay. So sit back and enjoy it. Let's welcome Daniel and Jordan. What had to rhyme? The Daniel and Jordan Show.
Welcome back to the show. The greatest one you've seen all day. The greatest one you've listened to this morning, since, this one comes out pretty early. And the greatest one you will see the rest of 2024. Good morning, Jordan.
Good morning, Daniel. How are you today?
I'm good, buddy. I just like mixing it up, just throwing a little pizzazz curveball.
High energy. Do you think you wish that I was a little more high energy with you?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I wish I could.
But it's a little positive with a little negative.
And the low testosterone.
That's what makes the atomic bomb.
My libido is a little low.
Right?
Huh?
Does that make the atomic bomb?
Or what makes the atomic bomb?
Like a positive and
Are you
a negative?
asking me a chemistry question right now?
I thought it was science.
Chemistry is science.
Hey, we're close. Man, what a week it's been, bro.
Yeah, what have you been up to this week?
This week, just finishing up stuff around the house. I know I feel like I've said that the past 2 weeks, but literally I think we're kind of coming out of everything's just tidying up and almost done with the
house
patio.
Looks amazing.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. The patio, the studio, a couple things I need to have done in here, but nothing that's going to stop the process of filming or anything like that.
Yeah.
Also, I've faced a couple of personal challenges this week too.
Okay.
Just stuff. And it's kind of hard to explain because I've always understood that people are people and people just do different things.
What do you mean by people are people exactly? So
just like it sounds, people are people.
Okay, one equals one.
People all have different emotions and people all have different the ways they do stuff and say stuff and express themselves. So I guess what I mean when I say people are people is pretty much everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
Because not one person is the same, I don't think.
Right.
So I've understood that this week, everybody's just different. They think differently, or they may say stuff they don't mean. And just understanding emotion, and not just my emotion, but maybe their emotion, recognizing it and just understanding that, it is what it is, I guess, kind of say. I guess looking at it and understanding that this person feels a certain way, and guess what? That's okay. I'm not going to be here to say what I need to say to make, unless I need to make them feel better if it's one of those emotions. But if, say, someone feels a certain way towards me, I'm recognizing that, I'm understanding that. But am I doing anything bad? Am I doing anything wrong? No, so I'm just going to keep doing. I know it sounds kind of selfish, but I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
Well, I talked to my mom this week. We were talking more just how everybody is, you're really just your inner child, and everyone's trying to resolve inner child issues. And sometimes things someone can come off as a douchebag, but sometimes it's them and their own issues that we, as humans, we end up developing because of how we were raised or how society has been or however. And those things are more complicated than we like to make that story in our head be.
Yeah.
And so people are people. We are reactive. We are caught up in the moment. We're caught up in the story of me.
Yeah. And that's caught up in the story of me. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of people...
I didn't coin that term, by the way, just to let you know.
I don't even know what that means.
I've heard it from something else. Well, I didn't
come up with that.
Yeah,
That's
I just wanted to clarify.
But What did you say?
The story of me.
Yeah, the story of me. I think that is very powerful and very strong. And at some point, I think we were all focused on that story of me. You know what I mean? But I guess because I've had a ton of self-growth in the past 3 months, 6 months, a year, from self-education, hanging around great people like yourself, doing some, you
are screwed,
personal, personal growth, like personal assessments and just, I guess, growing up. You know what I mean? I felt like I've really grew up a lot in the past year. And so when you see other people in this mindset, it's like, oh, one, I understand it because I was there, but it's really nothing I can do or change or say to pull that person out of it. They're going to have to recognize that amongst themselves at some point, and hopefully sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And then they grow out of that. You know what I mean?
And sadly, some people don't. And, a lot of times I think a lot of people think less of people like that, but life's hard. It's easy to be caught in the waves of it. And in some forms, we're very privileged people that life is good enough for us to have time to set back and to be introspective instead of life being so rough that you're just trying to survive. It's just a sad reality of life is that you get caught up in the story of yourself and what's going on in your life that you never pull out and zoom out and look at the bigger picture of we're all going through it in just different forms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know we started that off a little deep.
Well, this week, my grandfather he's gone downhill quite a bit. And so Caney went and sat with my mom while I was at work the other day, and I came in, and they told me that they were talking about when I was 2 years old, I would walk up and hop in my mom's lap and unbutton her shirt and get her tits out.
Wow. That sounds like me at 33. Not with your mom, of course, but.
And I never quit, baby. Not with my mom.
That's interesting.
No, yeah. So they've been bonding.
What was the purpose? Were you like drinking or were just into it?
Full grown boy. I tasted good, I guess. I don't know.
You had good taste at such a young age.
Yeah. What does Kenny say? Kenny says that, it means something about me. What do you think it means? What happens when you nurse too long? What does that make you?
A pussy.
A boobs guy instead of an ass man?
Yeah, you're definitely into boobs. Or they're into you. You catch my drift? They're into your mouth.
Yeah, nice. I didn't get it.
But yeah, I think it just makes you more loving.
More loving?
Would you consider yourself a more mommy's boy or a daddy's boy?
That is a good question. Mom, and I are extremely close. Mom and I are very similar. Yeah, probably my mommy's boy,
I think that's me too. Your dad's there to like kick you down and pick you up. And just be that, inspiration, I feel like. But in the times of needs, or it's like, if I know I could always call mom. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Probably why I'm the meanest to her.
And it probably has something to do with us breastfeeding at such a...
You breastfed long too?
I don't think I did. I think I
bet you
did a little nibbling. Mom didn't like that. Not when I did it. She may like that, but not when I did it.
Yeah, I'm sure she didn't.
And for some reason, I've carried on that nibbling today. In this day and age, yeah.
Not me. I don't like the aggression. I like it to be very...
There's sometimes where I get that nipple in there and I just want to bite it off.
Sorry, Mom. I do agree. Like, I know exactly that feeling.
I feel like I got a little raisin in my mouth and I just need to pop that raisin.
Yeah. I'm not sure what that means, but I know exactly what that means.
I don't know. I could see it happening though.
Do you like nipple rings?
I first saw this is a pretty funny story actually. I first saw my first set of nipple rings at the skating rink when I was like 12 years old. The boys and the girls' bathroom are down the same hallway, and you had to like obviously turn left or turn right to go to the designated spot to use the bathroom. Well, this girl, she was like, I got to go to the bathroom. I was like, okay, we'll skate up there with you. So we skated there. And then, which is gross, you could skate in the bathroom. And when you take your skates to the counter, they always spray the insides.
They don't do, yeah.
What the fuck is on the bottom of those?
That's a good point.
That's disgusting.
That's a good point, buddy.
But anyway, she's like, hey, have you ever seen nipple rings? And of course not. I'm 12.
Oh, she showed you purposely?
Yeah, she showed me purposely.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's way cooler than accidentally.
And so that was the first time some chick purposely showed me her breast. The second time was on the bus. I think I was in 7th or 8th grade. This girl, I will keep her name discreet because I know exactly who she is.
You can tell me later.
And you know who you are. And anyway, she was like, Daniel. And she was like laying in the seat down. And she pulled it out and she said, don't tell anybody. And of course, I'm like, I won't. I told everybody the next day.
He's telling everybody again now.
I was like, I saw her tits. It's the coolest day of my life.
Yeah.
One of them.
Back then, too, like kids grow up now. I'm sure they've seen tits at what? 6, 7?
Young age. Social media is around now, so stuff pops up on my feed. Don't know how or why, but it's there. Maybe it just recognizes me, that it knows what I like, but it's there in front of my face.
It took me forever to see a real pair.
Really?
Forever. High school, I'm pretty sure.
So why? What was the reason about the
pair
breast?
Shouldn't have even counted.
Breast unbuttoning story of yours?
So Mom and Katie have been talking about me nursing too long.
Funny stuff.
Nursing too long. Specifically, they talk about me.
What do you feel like it means for someone who's been there and done that?
I don't know. I think it is. Let's see here. The mama's boy thing for sure. I think I like to be nurtured and babied. You know?
Yeah.
I think
you like to be told what to do?
I think
you do like that.
I do like it a little bit. I think it's good for me, actually. Yeah. My mind I can't do it all up there myself. I just need someone to organize.
I gotcha.
I think that's the good side for the creative, but the awful side for responsibilities.
I mean, you did kill the squirrel.
I did, exactly.
You did kill the squirrel.
Yeah.
Well, besides, so what's going on with your granddad?
So granddaddy, he's 93. He's had poor health for the past several years. And he recently had a stroke, and he's been having heart attacks too this week. So he started off, he's been in hospice now. And so they're keeping him comfortable, which is good because the past few years he's struggled with health things, and he hasn't gotten a whole lot of pain med help.
So he's been miserable.
He's just been pushing through. And at that age, pushing through is pretty miserable. Trust me, he lets us know. And so he's more comfortable now, but like when the morphine starts, that kind of the breathing gets taken away a little bit more because they're more relaxed and things like that. So he's not fighting as much, but he does seem like he's going now.
Yeah.
So we think this week he might go, but I'll be honest, I've said that a couple times over the past several years.
A lot of years, yeah.
And I've said this about several grandparents. That generation of people, they just keep going.
Relentless.
They are relentless. Relentless.
I would say the same, because my papa, I think he was like 93 when he passed, only because he fell and broke his hip. Only that. I mean,
that killed he
didn't die on like impact or anything, but like he did pass shortly after, like a month to the day. He did pass.
Okay, sorry. That's your grandfather.
Great guy, but yeah, I mean, he didn't die on impact.
Okay, but which actually, you know what? I'll go ahead and do this here. The word of the week this week is resiliency, and that was because I saw my grandfather going through all of this and even still fighting death. And one could argue in a good or bad way for that, but I look at the way his health has been. I would have been dead years ago.
You said, fuck this. Take me now.
Yeah, in my 70s. But, that I really do think, I was thinking about on this like generation is, he was in World War II. His grandparents, I don't know, they were Native Americans or something. He's whatever. The things he's seen and gone through, that generation of people they just know how to nut up. And I think about like my generation of people. I don't know how long we're going to live.
Yeah.
Because we're not that healthy of people, and we don't have a whole lot of fight in us either.
Yeah. And just like stuff has changed, like food, for example, it's overproduced, overprocessed.
On top of that.
Because we have to keep up with population. So like back then, there wasn't as many people on the earth as there is today.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, they were like farm fed. Yeah. They harvested their own food. They killed their own cow. So.
Well, that stuff was, right now it's like money's the only thing that's valuable. Then it was like you could have your own farm and you had value.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like things
you could
were
live
worth
the rest of your life.
Which I guess you could still technically do that today, sort of, except we're too dumb.
Yeah. Or it's going to get bought out by the government and get commercialized,
Yeah. Right.
Like, oh, yeah, we see your land. We'll buy your land. We're going to put these cows in here and we're going to just pump them full of
dicks.
Yeah. Pump it full of something, some great preservatives, some steroids, and beef these things up and just overproduce. And then you're cutting down on quality of product. Are we eating cows? I don't know.
Yeah. The nutrients issue.
We could be eating a little cow mixed with a little bit of goat.
Mm-hmm. And I've said it before. I think that my father's cancer was because of processed food.
Really?
I think so.
You think because he ate a lot of it?
He's a pretty darn healthy person everywhere else. He didn't eat great, but he wasn't like overly eating, stuffing his face. But Dad, he was cheap.
Yeah.
And cheap in America means you're eating a lot of processed food.
Yeah.
So but personally, but I mean,
it is a good way to control population.
Yeah.
To be honest, I mean, people lived so long back then. Well, we had this talk,
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like cavemen probably didn't because they were killed by the, what are those big things with the tusks?
Saber-toothed tigers.
Saber-tooth or the
Do you know they're bringing
mammoths.
back the mammoth? They're bringing it back.
What do you mean?
They are doing something. They got an embryo or something, and they are bringing it back to life.
If that happens, I'm quitting.
I'm dead serious, dude. Mammoths are coming back. And the dodo bird.
That's a big bird. That's a giant running bird.
That's what I thought so, too. Yeah.
Yeah, the dodo was, I think it was in the
Pokemon.
The Crudes. Isn't that a dodo
I haven't
bird?
seen the Crudes. Probably, though. That's what makes sense.
Yeah, the dodo bird was there. But it's a fast bird.
It's a fast bird.
And it's a large bird. Almost kind of like
Is that a round head?
Yes.
A fuzzy red round head? And a beak? Well, it's a bird, so it's probably got a beak.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of in the same family as Jordan or the...
large bird.
Yeah, it's either in that family or the ostrich family.
Okay.
Something similar.
Okay.
So what was today's word of the week?
Resiliency.
Yeah. But that just goes to show you with that mindset, if you have that resilient mindset, anything is possible. If you want to stay alive a little bit longer, just stay resilient. If you want to do better in life, stay resilient, and just keep going pushing towards that process and keep pushing towards your goal or to whatever that is. But that just shows you if we have that resiliency about us, anything is possible.
And I think it's important to remember that like everything you do is going to have struggle. Therefore, you have to have resiliency.
Yeah.
Not all the great things aren't just easy going and it's all great all the way through. Things always get tough. There's always a moment where you feel like giving up. There's always another moment where you'll feel like giving up. And then there's another moment you'll feel like giving up. And that's what resiliency is at those moments saying, I want to keep going.
Right. And then you said people can argue with, kind of beating death or overcoming that. It can argue good or bad. But it could be great in a sense of like, think of my aunt right now who's going through Hodgkin's lymphoma. It's like she has a freshman in high school, a freshman in college, children, and if death beats her, they're left with, one with nobody and one with a dad. And then if she overcomes that, then think of it as like she's there.
Yeah.
And she don't want to give up, Well,
it's nice because it makes you think of, we develop a lot of resiliency when we have like a responsibility to another person or a connection to somebody or something to hold us here.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I think of like my grandfather has watched most of the people he knew and loved pass away. And obviously he still has us and mom, but still holding on through all that is the amount of resiliency is pretty impressive. But like your aunt, I'm sure she gets all of her like strength from the fact that she has those loved ones to take care of, and that's a powerful connection to keep you resilient because if you weren't, it'd be a sad existence.
I think to make resilience work is to surround yourself with those people that want to see you overcome whatever it is you're overcoming too. I think that's what fuels the fire as well as the person who I don't want to leave my wife. I don't want to leave my kids here alone.
Yeah.
So you're going to fight for that. But what's going to fuel that fight is the people that's like, you got this. I feel like too, to kind of keep you in
motivators,
that right mindset. Because right now she's going through, so a little update with her. She's, approved for the whole stem cell transplant. And I guess they kind of brought her in this past week and was like, hey, this, and this can happen. There's a 40-something% chance that the stem cell transplant can just pretty much reverse everything, and your liver may not accept it, and everything's rejected, and 47 or 40-something% chance that there's death. So when you're told that, it's like, it really, like, she's been really down this week. But I saw I saw a comment on her Facebook post. It was like, those statistics are not her personal statistics.
Yeah.
These are statistics from thousands and millions of people.
Yeah.
Who probably have so many different underlying issues, different stages, different everything. And I think that comment kind of really pulled her out. And was like, she was like, thank you so much. I really needed this, because it's not who she is. She's been so positive through this whole thing, but that right there was like, hey, you got a 47% chance of death. Mm-hmm. When you hear that, who wouldn't just be like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I think she's at the point to where she's kind of coming out of that sadness and understanding that percentage isn't based off of her. She's not part of that percentage yet. So, she's back in fight mode. I feel like
seeing that glimmer of hope. It's nice. It's powerful to have just being able to have, I guess they call it like agency, right?
Yeah.
The feeling, the power that you have to control in some form. And so when you see like a glimmer of hope like that, like a perspective, that then you feel like, oh, I can change my perspective to have control over this a bit. And that maybe this other thing that I was told was just a different perspective.
Right.
And you can choose your perspective sometimes and become more resilient or become anything with a different perspective. No one perspective is right. It doesn't seem like, at least.
Do you think having a resilience trait, like as one of your traits, is good or bad?
I think it's always good, at least for yourself. I think some douchebags can be really resilient, and that sucks.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so there's two ways of looking at it. That's true.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think evil and things like that are extremely resilient.
Yeah.
Ignorantly resilient.
Yeah.
And you have to be extremely resilient yourself to endure.
That is true.
The goodness coming out the other side.
Yeah. Man, God, you're fucking smart.
Well,
Or at least I think you are.
I'll be dead before you.
But don't take my word for it.
You're more resilient than I am.
I'm very resilient, and it could get the best of me sometimes. When I'm resilient on trying to change someone. You know what I mean? Like, I know you're going down the wrong path, and I'm trying to change your mindset, change your personality, trying to get you thinking outside the box a little bit. I'm very resilient in that, and then I feel a source or a sense of defeat because I can't pull you out of a certain thing. So being a little too resilient at times too can kind of backfire at me.
Right.
And it has in the past. But like I said, this week I've understood that, like, hey, people are people. Everybody's different. I can say, and that's why a lot through life, and you've told me this in the past, it's like people have to go through these experiences and the ups and the downs and the emotions and figuring it out themselves at the end of the day.
Yeah. It only sticks if they figured it out themselves.
Yeah, 100%.
They might understand what you're saying in that moment, and then the next day they're right back in the pattern of their own lives.
Yeah.
They have to disrupt that pattern. They have to go down they have to put the puzzle pieces together.
Yeah. And unfortunately it sucks sometimes because it's people that are so close to you, and it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, down the road, they figure that out themselves. And then you feel so like when I say you, I mean them, but like you feel a sense of like humbleness come over you. And it's like, holy shit, I was a little shit like I was, and I just feel they have to go through that. Unfortunately, you have to let them go through that. And that's people with addiction too. Yeah. You have to let them figure it out for themselves. Like, hey, they know they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
They know they've just got out of jail. They know that they're addicted to this or that. But I can tell you and try to inspire you in such a way. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to make that decision. You're in control of your personal emotions. You're in control of your destiny at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're spot on with just like, you can't control other people. It's just, and you can't. you can't be a huge role model unless they look at you like that.
Right.
If they don't
but
look
they
at you,
have to make that choice.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but yes, you're exactly right. You can try to be that person. You can try to be that role model, and that's okay. But you have to understand that if you don't change that person, you have to control your emotion, because there's so many people that get mad or upset. It's like, think of it as a marriage. You're trying to save this marriage. You find out such and such is doing something bad, and you're trying to change them, and you're trying to change them. That's the problem. You're trying to change them. At the end of the day, they have to change their self, just like an addict. You can say, hey, that's bad for you. You're throwing your life away. You're throwing your family away. They're not going to know unless they change it for themselves. You know what I mean? To think different or pull themselves out of addiction, pull themselves out of a failing marriage, pull themselves out of financial failure, pull themselves out of being just unhappy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think you could say like with people, like I think of when I've been told my whole life things I'm doing wrong. I'm being brainless and mindless, right? Which is great that our slogan is mindless and brainless. Because I feel like I've lived a lot of my life mindless and brainless. And then I came to a conclusion at one point, like, man, all the cliche sayings are all true. I've just always kind of ignored them or wasn't ready to hear that at the time or all this. And I think of a lot of people who have gotten really frustrated with me trying to tell me things that I need to fix. And they were right. I wasn't ready to hear it. But they also, I think a lot of times people tend to looked at me as being dumb or something like that because I didn't hear it in that time, because they were right and I was wrong.
Right.
And then that's how they took it. And it was just that I wasn't ready. And I think years later, I'm known for this with Kami and my friends, I have epiphanies all the time of like really stupid, simple things that are normal, like not biting my fingernails, things like that. But the epiphany is that I finally put the puzzle pieces together to actually use this as an actual way to change my life. It's not just someone telling me you shouldn't bite your fingernails and me listening and then I just move on. It would be great if I worked that way. And I guess some people are that way, and it's hard for them to accept that people are like us, where it's like we feel life out, and then we put the puzzle pieces together as we put them together. And it doesn't connect, and we can't make real change until we have put those things together. And I think so. Like when I think of like trying to help other people, sometimes if it's like that situation, like how would you go about helping someone? Like, because you do still need to say something, right? Because you still should be like, hey, but you say it out of concern. You say it simply. You don't make them feel like an idiot. You don't make them feel like that, and then you love them anyways afterwards.
Right.
And I think that is the key. You love them anyways afterwards, and you don't. You don't control. You don't always bring it up. You don't nag, because at some point when they mess up, they have to make the connection. I just messed up and did that again. I need to do. And that's, I think, is where this starts. You put that little seed in their mind where they've heard it before, and then when it happens again, that little seed pops back in their mind, like, oh yeah, I should have done it differently. And then they'll make another mistake again, and then slowly they stop making the mistake.
Yeah, I think it's important you bring it up. That's for sure. Or just say, hey, try to inspire them, because at the end of the day, there's people out there that need some inspiration, because there's been many a times where I need some inspiration. So I go to YouTube and listen to a speech or something that I'm feeling, and it kind of like, it gets me thinking, because it's some things I've heard in the past from either a podcast or an individual. So it's important to be that person, that inspirational person, or that person who can think outside the box.
Yeah.
But you don't need to attack them with it. Yeah. Or you have to understand that people are people. Yeah. And they have to make that choice on their own. And it goes back to that people are people, just because that's what it is. Everybody's different. Everybody has a different mentality. Everybody has a different mindset. Everybody has different emotions. And you have to control your emotions. Yeah. And when you recognize that, when you understand that, it's like a weight lift off your chest. You know what I mean? And this past week, I've understood that. Yeah. People are people. And I heard something this morning. It's like, you're in control of your emotions, and you have to understand those emotions. And those two together really changed my outlook this week, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess another story this thing popped up in my head of of just like when you're helping someone, one thing, it's like sometimes we think of this as like things that people doing wrong. And I feel like that's a perspective that as a person that we need to work on ourselves of. People don't always need criticism. People sometimes just need to be pointed at what they're doing right to where they can lean into what they're doing right in life. And that's a more positive way to help instead of, I think right now the world is just full of criticism. It's full of constant, what are you doing wrong?
That's what everybody thrives off of.
Thrives, yeah. And thrives on other people's wrong. It's not their own.
Yeah, 100%.
They thrive on looking at what everyone else is doing wrong that they are doing right. And I think a great way to inspire is to look at someone and look at what they did. And so you could, like, for example, like when I show our podcast, the way I tell people is like, just give me a compliment first. Start with a compliment. Tell me what I'm doing right. That way I know what to keep doing and not to worry about or to lean further into. I know there's a lot wrong here. I know that there's things that we could do better here and there, but I'm not trying to make something perfect here. I'm just trying to make something good.
Right.
And I think it's a great way to criticize people would be through positive criticism of telling them what they're doing right, where they need to be headed, that, yes, you are pointing in the right direction here. Go that way. If you want criticism on other stuff, and ask me. Yeah, I'll tell you what I think's wrong, but yeah.
That is the number one way to get people on your team too, especially with management. I was always taught and always exercise this is, when someone left, we did like a TTM in and a TTM out. And it's pretty much talk to me. Like, let me know what I'm doing right. Let me know what I'm doing that I need to improve on. So when people left, I worked at Wendy's for many, many years. When people left, I would always say, hey, great job on fries today. Everything I touched burnt my hand. Dude, that was nuts. Crazy. Good job. Keep it up. But tomorrow I seen you salting, but it was a little too much, a little too heavy on the salt. Remember, food cost. Just back the salt up a little bit. But damn, those things were hot. You're giving them that positive. So they're leaving like, hell yeah, I sold some hot fries today.
Yeah.
But then they're also knowing tomorrow when they come back, it's like, all right, I could do what I'm doing yesterday. I had them fries hot, but Daniel said a little less salt. You do that with everybody, and you do that in this situation, and you're only going to get good out of it.
Yeah. Yeah, build a community, which is what we want to do, and have it all positive. Everyone succeeding, everyone moving towards a better life, everything. Yeah.
So tell us what we're doing good today. I know we're good looking. We don't need to hear that.
We're begging for a compliment, please.
Yeah. Call it and tell us what we're doing right.
What do you think about the glasses, Daniel?
So when Jordan came here, I'm glad you brought that up, because if they hadn't noticed yet, which they probably hadn't,
They did during the reading book sketch.
I think so. But when he walked in, something looked different, and I thought it was his shirt. So immediately, the Waco, Texas guy pops in my head. Put some long hair on him, and my man Jay over here looks like a cult leader, okay? But they look great. I mean,
we're trying to build a community here.
They fit you. We are trying to build a community.
And if you got a hot wife, you're welcome.
Yeah. But I think the glasses look great on you. I'm glad, you had the thicker black ones. Those look good. They're not fully circled, so they're not like so nerdy that screams like, I love reading books. It's more like, hey, I'm a nerd, but I got swag.
Yeah, Kenny says you can see my eyes. I don't have much eyebrows, but the old ones, like they were like goggles, right?
Yeah.
And now that you can see a little bit more of my eyes.
You can almost see past those because they're...
Past my eyes?
No, not past your eyes. You're not the lizard people. You can see past the glasses, and you can see more of your face and your eyes. I agree with Kenny. I mean, kind of get lost in them.
Well, they're probably a keeper, so they're probably have to get used to them, which means we might have to change the logo or something. I don't know, but I'm going to be looking a little different here. There'll be some upgrades. I get a haircut this week from your boy.
Sweet. Okay, shout out.
And Kenny told me I think I need to start working out because we've noticed that we have a larger homosexual audience now on TikTok, and she thinks that I should get in shape for those guys.
I mean,
you already look good for them. I think you're right.
I appreciate it.
You're right. Yeah.
They're calling me a girl.
You're a twonk.
Like, hey, girl.
I'm a bit of a twink.
What's a twink?
What it sounds like.
A twig?
Just like a little thing.
Nailed it. When I hear twink, I think of twig. And what am I?
And you're a twonk.
I'm a trunk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm just a big fucking stable thing, you know? You got your twinks
Like
and your
tree,
twonks.
Yeah, a tree
And
trunk.
I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been called a girl. They're like, hey, girl, you've shit before.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're
They
calling
know.
me.
Yeah, they know you shit before. You've had diarrhea. You've had diarrhea, girl.
Girl, you've had diarrhea.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Because you have had diarrhea and you did lie on that.
I've never done it before.
You do lie sometimes, but I feel like you believe your own lie. That's just like
is it a lie?
They did the French fry thing on your podcast. That was a lie that Whitney. Remember?
Oh
yeah.
That was not on purpose. That was not on purpose.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
I think I don't realize I lie.
And then
Does that mean I'm a compulsive liar?
And then you have that thing where you're like, I swear to God, that's what happened.
Maybe I'm just trying to make myself believe that it happened to make me feel better, right? That's a little compulsive.
Yeah. Well, is anything kind of pissing you off this week?
Man, I tell you, you're going to love this story.
Okay.
This is something that didn't make me want to do anything except kill myself. Okay?
I'll help you if you need help.
You ever had an itch back there on your derriere, however you say it?
In the crack?
In the crack. Upper crack itch.
On the tailbone.
I'm going to be honest. I'm a vapor, you know? And this goes for anything. I feel like I've done this before, but I really noticed it this time. So I had a little itch. It was early in the morning, so I slept. I shower every night, so I smell great when I go to bed, but I sweat a lot in the bed. I'm an excessive sweater. See?
Got it. Yeah.
I'm an excessive sweater. And, you know, I'm sure sweat makes you stink a little bit.
Oh, it does.
And you could wash your ass all day. One day.
All day?
All day. You can just be in the shower scrubbing your ass all day long. But tomorrow, it's still going to stink.
Yeah.
Because, think for shit as an example. You try to clean shit, it's still going to stink.
Yeah.
You have to get rid of it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I go to work. I'm sitting here itching, scratching. I was like, man, top of that tailbone's itching. Well, I scratch. My vape sitting on the counter or my desk. I grab my vape, hit it, and in that second, I tasted every bit of ass that I just scratched. It's the most weird. You ever had a shit on a stick? It tasted shit on a stick. It was like
it fruity?
Yeah, because the vape was not the scent.
Oh, so it smelled like poopery.
Yeah. After you took a shit.
Yeah.
Poopery smells great prior to the shit.
It smells like shit with fruit after the shit.
Yeah. You're not hiding. You ain't fooling me, bruh. You know what I mean? Yeah, it was the most, and now that I've recognized, so here's note to self, don't scratch your ass and take a puff of the vape because you're going to taste it.
You're just going to blow out fart clouds.
Yeah. In comes the vapors, out comes the green gas. That's just what happens. But I've done this before after cleaning and I've noticed it. Like I've cleaned my shower.
Your ass?
No, not after cleaning. I'm talking about cleaning a shower or something, or sinks, like bleach. Like I was clean and then hit the vape and I would taste that bleach
Are you sure it's not just like your hands close to your nose and you're smelling it while you hit it?
I'm sure that has to do with it.
Or did you rub your hands across the tip of it?
No. I didn't just I wonder what this tastes like.
Put a little...
just rim my mouthpiece of my vape.
Residue, as you say.
Residue. It's the most disrupting thing I've done all week. I immediately messaged Jordan on Facebook and was like, hey, note to self, don't scratch your ass and puff your vape because you will taste shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry that happened to you, buddy.
Yeah. Not really didn't piss me off. Just made me want to kill myself.
Yeah. Well, you're going to try it again or?
Not kill myself now.
Maybe you should rub your balls and try it. That's not so bad. That
because
sounds
we
good.
found out that smells actually pretty enjoyable.
Pretty good, yeah. Am I right, Ben?
Man, that's funny. Well, did we even?
I guess
we
knocked it all out.
What
resilient?
What did you do this week though? Mainly you spent a lot of time with your
grandpa. Yeah, I've been over there with my granddaddy. Yeah. So honestly, that's most of what I've done. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. I'm glad we talked about resiliency. I think it's important just be careful with it because sometimes it can get you in trouble. You just have to understand. However you're using it, just understand your emotions. I think if you understand your emotions, the rest is easy.
Yeah,
easy.
Being resilient's good when it's for good things.
Yeah.
So use it for good things.
Yeah. Be resilient, like watching our show every week.
Resiliently watching our stuff, making sure the money's coming into our pockets.
Yes. And be resilient on washing your hands before you puff your vape.
Or not if it's not your thing.
Yeah. Just don't use the Bath and Body soap because you're going to taste it. Well, everybody, that's it for this week. Just be sure and tune in with us next week, because we talk about some pretty funny stuff.
Oh, and we're going to do the Enneagram next week. I know I said this last week too. Sorry,
Wait, what's
Dan.
that?
The Enneagram is like the personality test thing. So we'll find out which personality type you are, right? And
Gotcha.
we'll compare. Maybe you can take it and then I'll go over your results for you. And maybe you can look at my results and we'll tell each other about each other or something like that. That'll be kind of a fun little thing
That
to do.
would be fun.
Yeah,
we'll do that. He's lied to you twice. And I'm the compulsive one.
We still don't have a vision board either.
No,
we
not
haven't
at all.
done anything we've told y'all we would do.
Yeah, not at all. But you're still here.
You're still here. So
And you're still listening.
Yep.
And we still love you. But hey, seriously, if you got anything out of this episode, send it to somebody because we do cut up and we do like to have fun. But at the end of the day, I think we have a good sense of knowing a little bit what we're talking about just because we've experienced certain things that we're going through or we've learned that lesson along the way. And we're not telling you how to live your life at all. We're not experts. Lord knows I'm not. I mean, I'm puffing shit vapes, okay? I'm not an expert, but I've been through things and I've learned a couple lessons and I'm just telling you what's helped me. Yeah. At the end of the day, like I said, it's up to you whether you want to do something with it or not. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, too, I'm here to love you and I'm here to entertain, and that's what we're doing.
Yep. Take what you want, leave what you want.
Yeah. And always remember, I'm Daniel.
I'm Jordan.
And we're Daniel and Jordan, your male entertainment for every Thursday.
Clothed. Latro.
Peace.